see what happens. Alright, I'll put the plug in here. Okay, and let's see if it has an impact on you turning a boat. Slow it down, slow it down. You can blame your dad for that, for choosing that boat. I've learnt something tonight. I couldn't work out why you weren't turning right, and then suddenly I realised this is a touring boat. See how, so do that turn there with the half shape, but also tell me about the movement of the boat. What does the boat do when you put the blade action in? No, but tell me what happens with the boat. Is it fast turn or slow turn? Just slow the paddle strokes down. Yeah, because that's a white water boat. So when you're in white water, you want to turn fast. But in that boat, if you're paddling down the River Severn, there's nothing wrong with using that boat. But for white water, it impedes your turn. Right, so let's move to something different, but we then go back to what we're doing. So when we're talking about turning, right, what I want you to do is with your turning is when you're turning, say you start from reverse paddle, and then so on your right side is, or your left side is reverse. Now what I want you to do is to think about it in a half moon shape like that, but look from when you begin at the follow the paddle from the back to the front, and then switch it to a forward one on the opposite side. Alright? Watch the paddle from the front and then all the way to the back. So you're watching the paddle from the time you put it in the back to the time you lift it out at the front, and then on the opposite side from the front to the back. So, but try that. But do it in a controlled way, which is slow. So you're watching it all the time, watching that movement. So practice that several turns and then come back to me. Right. So then go back to doing that without watching your paddle. Right. Any difference about watching the paddle or not? You were still doing your trunk rotation, weren't you? But it's just initiating the fact that, yeah, yeah. So by watching the paddle, it's sort of you're turning your body automatically in a way. But you go from watching the paddle to looking at there, where you're looking at not so much at the paddle, but you're looking at future water as you're turning around like that. Okay, so what I want you to do is try opposite to that. Do the other way around. So it's a forward on, do the reverse. Yeah, do the opposite side. Okay, next little game. So, if I say start the paddle stroke from the right, you start from the right. Then if I say start the paddle stroke from the left, yeah, so I'm going to do it alternately. When I shout it out, you've got to switch. Work it out. Yeah. So then I'll say start from the right. Right? You ready for it? Okay, give yourself enough room. Right, so start from the right. Left. Right. Left. Okay. When have you used that approach tonight without me telling you? Right, you've actually done that, but not to the extreme of, yeah, you could have done. But when else have you used that where you've started off on one side where you've done either reverse or forward paddle, but then you've switched it to the other side? So when have you done that tonight? Where you... Right, yes, you have done that. Alright. Paddle down towards that group of people, or paddle round down by the bottom where they're rolling over there, and tell me how you do it to get round people. So you've got to go round people, round this pair here, round Rich and Rob, Rich and the guy over there, Dave. Alright? So I want you to paddle round a group of people. Right, paddle towards this group. Right, paddle in between Paul, round there. Right, in between here. Right, to this side here. Right, round here. In between here. Right, round this way. Right, round the back of Simon. That's it. Right, back here, in this way, towards me. Right, okay. We're finishing the session now. We're going to get some feedback. So, when did you use your reverse paddle and forward paddle? Yeah. So, just keep looking at this. Have you got? Yeah, you've got it on the right side. Keep looking at it. Oh, right. Maybe I'm looking at the opposite to it. Yeah. So really, you're using that reverse and that forward paddle to adjust yourself as you manoeuvre, like a fish, round the boat, aren't you? So when I was doing that thing where you're going one way and the other way, you can be in that situation where you have to suddenly switch it from the opposite side to the other side. So it's getting your mindset and doing it automatically to subconscious. So in a way, subconsciously, you're doing it over there, aren't you? You're not really thinking about it, are you? So in a way, you're meeting subconscious in that move there. Okay, so what have you learned? What did you like about tonight's session? When you're talking about more things, you're going to be concrete in what you mean by it. Yes, all together, so it's sort of more natural to move from one stroke to the next stroke in a situation, right? So, and what do we call that when you lean the boat to one side and to the other side? Edging. And when you do your turn, and you're looking at the back of the boat, the purpose of that is to see what? Which is called future war. Right. What do we learn by changing the boats? So the hull on different. So when would you use this type of boat? What type of river? Right. When we go on river trips on a Saturday, we're always looking for what type of water to paddle. What do we call when it's moving up and down? White water, isn't it? Right. Now the other boat is more to do with touring boat to go down. Have you seen the River Severn? Yeah. So to go down a river like that, because you're going to pack your kit in the back of the boat, aren't you? And the other thing with packing kit in the back of the boat, it means it provides more balance to the back of the boat. Normally we go white water. The back here, we've got sort of big airbags, which help to keep the stability of the boat. Okay, so we learned that about there's different boats for different things, aren't there? Okay, and we did the reverse paddling, didn't we, and forward paddling, and how you use that to manoeuvre different positions. Okay, I went a bit off track really with what I proposed to do. I was going to go into the routine of reinforcement of what you've done previous learning, so you get a pattern in your head and you recap it and you relearn it so it stops there in sort of not so much short-term memory but for long-term memory. And I've also introduced a little bit of technique in turning, haven't I, and understanding the turning movements. So when with the turning movement, how to break in on moving water, where you use the sweep at the front on the one side, you use your edge, and then you look for the future water. But I also will maybe next week introduce a paddle stroke that you can put there to create more stability. Although when you did it, you put in the stroke right close to you, didn't you? To create that stability, which is very similar. It's what we call I'll show you. But what you would do, you've got it hit on the turn. You had it there like that, which is a little bit more. Normally we put it there like that and more out there like that, and that's called a bow rudder, because it's like a rudder, and that creates that stability. So we might introduce that next week, so you get used to that. So that mind pattern. Okay. So what you liked about? I've gone over that. So what do you want to learn for next week, apart from what I've just told you? Proficient or yeah. It all comes in time. It won't all come to you, but it's about remembering what you've got to do, and the patterns to the learning to improve the technique. With the videos, by watching that, you can help you to recall. The other thing I need to tell you about that, when you see your PE teacher, you can show her the videos to show evidence of, yeah, so of what you're learning and developing. Brilliant. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, when you get the